Hello and welcome back to the Spanish Sling, a podcast where we try to bridge the gap between the Spanish and Singaporean companies and encourage economic relations between them. But today we wanted to pay attention to one of the key pillars of life, education. This is why today we bring an international teacher that has been living in Singapore for the past 12 years. We welcome to the Spanish Sling, Noelia Gómez. Noelia, thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you for having me here.
And I am sure that you will give us a clear vision of the perspective of schools and university. So in the first part, let's focus on education at schools. So how is the education system structured in Singapore?
Okay, the first thing when we come to Singapore as Spanish people, we think that the system has been here for very long, but the truth is it's a very young system that has been only for 57 years. Then they started very, very basic, and they have been evolving pretty much for this long round until what we are doing right now. Then during 2018, they have been nominated in the top rankings of PISA.
Yeah.
And everyone from overseas has been, kind of seeing what Singapore is doing in terms of mathematics or sometimes, literacy. But the truth is, at the same time, these PISA rankings were showing that Singapore is kind of very stressed in terms for students. There is a lot of meritocracy. They have to really fight, to get into the universities. This is why sometimes the system has been criticized, and they know as a government, and they have been changing this. Then since 2018 until now that the change is being implemented, they are working towards changing what they have, because they have a system that is, they go from primary 1 to primary 6, and they have to pass a test which is called the PSLEs, if I'm not wrong, yes. And it's the meaning is primary living school examination. Mm-hmm. Then whatever they get in this test, they will divide the students into 3 different paths. They will go to what is technical, which is FP mm-hmm. in Spain. Yeah. Or maybe academics, which is like a college, it's not a university. And then whoever scored the best, they will go to what is called, I said academics, and then express, that's the last one. Then what it happens to parents that they are living here is they feel the system is very hard on students from primary, and they are changing this test this year.
Oh. Wow.
Yes.
So we will see some changes.
Yes, the examination is going to change, because in the end they realize it's true, there is a lot of pressure on students, mm-hmm. and they want to change this towards blending, students between the 3 paths. Now, it's too soon to tell, how far they are going, right? Yeah. Then we just have to wait and watch.
Exactly. Yes. So we can see that it's a kind of new recent system, and it's focus on high quality, but also there's a real pressure on students.
Yes.
And I guess there will be public and private schools like we have in Spain. Do most Singaporeans attend public schools and then international students attend private school, or they mix? How's it structured?
Okay, when I get parents that they come to me or friends and they say, which school do I have to choose for my children? I always tell them, there is a budget, thing, and there is also a values thing that is there. Then for Singaporeans citizens, it's a must. They have to go through the public system because it's mandatory, and the Ministry of Education says so. Then mm-hmm. they cannot avoid this path. However, if one of the parents is not Singaporean, they can always request exception and maybe move to an international one. As a foreigner, you can ask for the permanent residence, and also I think even not being permanent resident, you could access the public system, but you will be maybe at the bottom of the list, and it's a bit challenging to get in, but it's an option too. As a permanent resident, you could accept this list in an easy way, and yes, you could also go to public system. However, you have the international system, but there under this range of international schools, it's more about the curriculum. If you want to do an American curriculum, or mm-hmm. if you want to do a British one, or if you want to do a blended one, then it's more about where you see your children moving on, right?
Yes, so different options for, I guess, overseas parents that want to raise their child in Singapore.
Yes.
To have this information. And so I guess they have different, in international schools and in public schools, different types of education. But
Yes.
normally, where does education pay the focus on? So it's memory or reasoning, hard skills, soft skills. And is it different from the one that we have in Spain?
Okay, I think sometimes when we compare education from Spain or education from Singapore, Singapore is a mix, right? It's a big range, and I think in Spain it's also happening the same. We are becoming to have public system and also private system, and also we have a mix, right? Which is concertadas.
Yeah.
But what I will say is like more the education is changing towards being from being before, like if we think back in Spain, right, was very pretty much teacher centric. The teacher was talking and students were listening and taking notes and absorbing the knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. Nowadays the whole system in education and the new wave of changing is more student centric, which means you are there to lead the knowledge and ensure that they grasp all the information that will help them to become something better in the future. But if we compare Singapore and Spain, I will say it's not black and white. I will say that it's true that here, local schools, they have been very academic, and it's true that they are aware of that, and they are developing soft skills. And this is something that they are implementing now. They call it global thing, like Global 21. And in this case, they want to develop soft skills because in the end, what they see is like this is a hub, an international hub. And although they are like the government they want to ensure that students, they go through the public system, but at the same time, they want to ensure that they are ready to be global citizens and to work in a global, world. Then because of that, they realize that they need to develop soft skills that is being, public speaker, international relations, being more exposed, to different, backgrounds and languages. Yeah.
So they will receive a mixed education, but a really rich one. And I really love the way that you explain that now the perspective is focusing on students.
Yeah.
But let's not forget the teacher, because the teacher is the most important element at schools. So I guess there will be a difference in the way the teachers are regarded in Singapore that they may be regarded in Spain.
Okay.
Is it?
Well, I think this is coming from family, values. I think not just in Singapore, but in Asia, there is certain respect to the figure of teacher or masters or anyone that is transferring knowledge to you. Then when you are working as a teacher, you always feel here certain respect on your job. And every time that you have to interact with families, there is always a good communication. However, again, I don't think things are black and white. I think in Spain it's also, there's a public system, there is a private system, and sometimes public systems, there is a lot of children that they are coming from difficult backgrounds. Here, you might have this kind of profile of students, but not that much. Then I will say sometimes teachers in Spain, they face difficult situations because also the social situations that those children are, having is not the same as here.
Yeah.
Then this is why I think it's not just simply teacher-student, it's more like, and it's true, it's like this, it's a community work, it's always, teacher, family, or like family, school, student, needs to be a circle of communication.
Exactly. But I think what it is vital and really important is that the teacher is really important in the education and needs a certain respect and also a well care. So people need to take care, and the government and organizations need to take care of teachers because they are raising the future of Singapore and the future of the world in a way.
I think they should invest, or maybe I could say, and I agree with this. I think being teachers is like, or any job, you need to be, you need to meet expectations, and sometimes, your job needs to be, always checked as a teacher, because at the end, you are working towards let's say, like citizens of the future. And by today, we don't know what kind of roles we are going to have, right? Then yes, definitely is something that they need to invest in teachers and control, the quality of teaching constantly.
Exactly.
I will agree with that.
Yes, it's so important. And we have talked about teachers in general, but what is the added value of a Spanish teacher in Singapore?
Okay, one thing I learned studying, and I was like a wow moment for me, and this is true. Okay, one thing I will say for the teachers that are in Spain and they want to come here, right? When we are teachers, what we transfer is knowledge, right? But what we don't realize is like, of course, you transfer the knowledge of your subject, and you will transfer the knowledge of the cultural background where you are. Like in this case, if you move here, you need to learn and absorb all the knowledge of this rainbow of cultures that you will have in your classroom, and also what is this government, how they are doing things socially, and etc. Definitely something that you will share with the students. But on top of this, being a Spanish teacher, you're transferring your own knowledge, and this knowledge are your values, are your beliefs, are the way that you have been absorbing your whole life. Then this is going to help you a lot, because you are going to realize that apart from your knowledge, you are going to be more empathetic, you are going to learn more about another culture, and moreover you will be able to learn about how to communicate to different cultures. And this is going to help you. Those soft skills are going to help you to move around the globe. I know a lot of teachers that once they step in Singapore, they go maybe after to teach in Africa, or maybe they go and they teach in India. And this, moving far from, just teaching in Spain is open you the whole world.
Exactly. So we have the hard skills and knowledge, and also the soft skills that comes maybe from our personality.
Correct.
And from our culture. So what are the different career opportunities that you can find in Singapore for as a teacher that comes from Spain, for example?
Well, here I have known different backgrounds of teachers. There are a lot of that we just simply teach Spanish because it's our language, right? But I have known teachers that they teach, like they have been architect teachers in the university, and teachers that they come to do business. Then it's just I think they value pretty much your expertise. I think if you are good, Singapore is gonna welcome you. Yeah. Because they really invest on on good people that could transfer knowledge to the population that is here.
So Noelia, just the final words, little tips or little advice that you would have wanted to know when you were a newly qualified teacher that may want to pursue an international career.
Okay, if you're a fresh student and you say, okay, I don't know what to do, the public path in Spain is a bit difficult, I want to explore international one, what I will say is prepare your English, obviously, if you want to come to an English-speaking country. But apart from this, is learn about the international curriculums. Get more expertise about IB curriculums or IGCC or GCC, which are British curriculums, because this is going to open the door to step in international schools, obviously. This will be the tip I will give them.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for explaining the education in Singapore, the value of teachers, and also tips for international parents who want to raise their child in Singapore, and also for those that have just graduated from university and want to pursue an international career. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.